I am here at my aunt's restaurant. It's called Tum Sue Tum Suan, which literally means make your clothes and make your garden. Tum Sue Tum Suan. Except she doesn't really have a garden. She does sell some clothes downstairs, but it's actually a restaurant upstairs. And I'm here to meet with a couple of friends, my special guests for this very first episode that I'm gonna do for my YouTube channel. So yeah, come inside. They're here. Hey, hello, hello. This is my aunt right here. She is the chef. สวัสดีค่ะ Yeah, you guys, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Be my guinea pig. My first guess. I'm gonna try out this format and see how it goes. My off on a tangent with Ali mentioned that we met last October in Hoi An, Vietnam, through the Ecoversities Alliance second Asia gathering. I was very new to that space. I had a long story of how I ended up there. Maybe we'll cover in another video, but quite serendipitous and coincidental and everything, and met Manish in Bristol just literally a month before that event. So that was amazing.
Passion fruit is just living in places.
Ansa is having a moment. She's just like, oh my god.
I don't have words for it.
Oh wow, that is really amazing.
See,
She's speechless?
I'm watering up. Look at my eyes. So good.
Oh wow. So tell me about how this compares to cuisine from home. From
home, I think it's a bit different because we don't use a lot of spices in our normal cooking.
Any spices?
Stop. But what we call salsa, which is made out of corn, and then it's made into like bowls. Then you can eat it with vegetables and a lot of meat. So that meat can be anything. Beef, chicken, anything. It just complements the whole meal. Those are like the main stuff. And then we have also like traditional food. But mostly our things are like millets, grains, and then a lot of meat.
For me, when I travel, part of my research before I go somewhere has to involve
Food. So
I will like look for let's say I go to Rome or whatever. We're going to Rome. I go out, I do the research, and I mark all these people. I'm not going to all of them, right? There's not that many meals, but I always have backup.
Yeah.
Like I will mark, like I'll do extra research. It's like, well, if we're in the neighborhood,
yes,
I have this place already,
Yeah,
that I already looked up.
So our trips have been shaped according to the kind of foods in those places. Oh, and then we came here.
So how does this compare to Michelin star?
This would be Michelin star. I mean,
would you say this is like Michelin star
Right up
quality?
yeah.
It's right up
Really?
there.
I mean, getting a Michelin star is
Political?
is a lot of it's a lot. Yeah, it's
A little
it's
bit
not just
political?
food. Let's just say that.
Yeah, right?
It has
So-
many things to worry about, but food quality wise, I'm sure those chefs would sit here and lick their fingers. That's,
Right.
And honestly, like I mean, Answer does zero planning for a trip. Like I plan the trips.
That is true.
So
I'm not even
I'm
going
not
to deny
usually planning based on.
But does he
Michelin-
enjoy it and you enjoy just turning up? Yeah, so you guys work, see?
Yeah, I love
Right?
that. I've always been. a
So
planner.
maybe he's the one that already enjoys like doing the research and picking, and then
He
and
does.
Answer just loves like, yeah, just take me wherever.
Just take
I'm-
me wherever
yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
I'll bring my passport.
She's gonna bring the fun. That's what she's bringing. She's bringing the vibe.
And the vibe.
So yeah, no, I mean the idea was never to plan based on Michelin restaurants that you can always travel to and get to. But the idea is to be close to places that are really connected to, that you will get the best version of in that place.
Yes.
Right? You can only get a certain kind of pad thai in Bangkok that you can never get in India. So you just don't get those ingredients. You can only get a certain kind of Peking duck or grilled ribs
Yeah.
in Chinatown, Thailand.
Yeah.
And Chinatown, I don't know, or even in China, you might get a Peking duck which will be
Oh
different.
yeah. Well, so like
It's very unique to that.
of course, like Chinese food in Thailand is
Yeah.
Is it the honest?
It's,
shaped by the diaspora of
Yes.
the Chinese immigrants who came here, right? So
yeah, my name is Abhijit or Abhi, which is how most people call me now. In this moment, first and foremost, I'm Answer's husband,
yes.
diplomatically. And second, I run a non-profit called Project Defy. When you're cutting a fish, you can always tell how a fish tastes while you're cutting it. Like you don't have to get too far. You don't have to taste it actually. No, because the way a knife goes through it tells you the whole story of the fish.
And by the way, like growing up with seafood in Thailand
Yeah.
and cooked in our way, steamed, all kinds of stuff with the flavors. And I went to the West and like the ruined seafood, I actually felt bad for the fish that was ruined. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, died for no
literally
reason.
it's just like, yeah, exactly.
Died for no reason.
I'm just like, I'm so sorry that you lost your life for this. You know? It's like it's almost like I'm mourning the lost. You know what I mean? And it's mangosteen like yum, which is like a spicy salad, and it's like honestly one of my favorite. And in here is an herbal อะไรนะ
กิน
ข้าว
ได้
ผัด
หม
ใช่ไหม
ดนะข้าวผัดสมุนไพร
Okay, so
เซ
it's
ซามิแล้วก็เม็ดมะม่วงแปะกล้วยขิง
Okay.
จิงโจ้ใบมะกรูดอะไรก็ไม่รู้ใส่เข้าไป
okay, so it's like an herbal like fried rice inside,
Wow.
and
Little present.
yeah, it's like a little present.
Spicy. Nice.
No, no, เขาชอบนิดหน่อย
It's okay. We are okay.
Yeah. เขา enjoy มากเลยนะคะ แล้วเขาบอกว่าเขาเพิ่งไปกินมิชลินสตาร์มาเมื่อ2 วันที่แล้วนะ แก้วถามเขาว่าเทียบกับมิชลินนี่เป็นไง เขาบอกว่าโอ้โหนี่สุดยอดเลย
อันนี้มิชลินเปิดประตูไม่ได้นะคะ cannot open the door มิชลินอ่ะ because ล็อกตลอดเลยไอ้
เคยมีมิชลินมาจีบบ้างปะมาจีบบ้างปะ
ไม่มียังไม่เคย
ไม่มีเหรอ
เพราะเขาไม่รู้เพราะว่าเราล็อกประตูตลอดมิชลินจะไม่รู้จักเรา
She says that Michelin can't get in here because the door is always locked.
Hi, I'm Answer. My name is Anson Zuma. I'm from Zimbabwe. I was born and bred in Harare, which is like the capital city of Zimbabwe, and I think my life journey has always been moving and transitioning, mostly in trying to create a space where I am myself. So that led to a lot of different initiatives. Worked with my sister a lot, where we ran programs for women so that they could be, empowered enough to do things on their own and be financially independent. So we would find people who can help and teach them skills, and then we would also bring in the business aspect of it so that they'll learn how to run their small businesses so that they become more independent. And that was in South Africa. I came to India in 2015 for a fellowship. That's where I met Abhijit, where it's like social people working on social entrepreneurship and different things. Then ever since that, yeah, I've been just working hard to just make sure that a lot of unlearning is happening, a lot of partnerships and different things are happening to at least change things from within the community rather than waiting for people to come and help, just finding the problem solving skills within the community. So that's what I've been up to. Yeah.
That's amazing. Right, so these guys are married. How many years have you been married? Okay.
We just finished 5 years.
5
Yeah.
years, okay. And you met because you came to do this program, and how exactly did you meet? Were you running this program? What was it?
No,
How
we
did
were both participants or students.
Oh, you were participants.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had started the first NOOC before that, and then I was here to understand what to do next.
Okay.
And similarly, Answer was running programs in South Africa, and she came down to figure out also what to do next.
Okay.
We met each other, and I think we started dating very, very early, very quickly. In the very beginning of the program itself.
No,
And
it
then-
took 2 months.
She knows that she's got a notebook.
No,
Like she noted it down.
Okay.
She knows exactly.
But I'm the one who's really bad with dates.
Mm-hmm.
And
But she remembers this, so this must be memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm curious to ask, being, from different cultures and everything, I would assume this is unusual maybe in India, or no?
Well,
There are a lot of, and how did you navigate that water in India, or from somebody from, Zimbabwe, from your perspective, I'm just curious to hear what your experience has been.
I think Answer side was much more open-minded. So they were
You mean from your family side? Okay.
much more chill. The only reservation they always had was that, and it's rightly so, that in Zimbabwe, the Indians that live there,
Mm-hmm. Right.
they will date Zimbabwean girls, but they would never marry.
Oh, really?
So why? Because they would only marry within the community. So they would not just marry Indian; they would marry in their specific community. And in some ways, they've kind of become more conservative than even the Indians in India.
That is true. Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the only thing on the Answer side. But my side was much more different. Almost everybody was initially unhappy about it. Then when I told my parents that, then of course they had things to say. Then all these relatives started calling, even people who don't speak to me so much, haven't spoken in a bunch of years. They're calling and sharing their opinion about why I should not get married to her.
People
Like,
were
how will
very
we speak to
threatened,
them?
right? I mean, this is the thing. It's like, as you were saying just the other night when we were having, drinks at the bar, is that I think when you're doing something that really goes against the grain of the norm, and you made a really good observation, and I really agreed with you. And I think people in our space tend to do things outside the norm a lot, right? It's like, and the people who come, as you say, it's not so much that they worry about you. It's like they're worried about what you represent to their world, in the sense of like, if you go off and do something that's not normal, and then you succeed, and you're right, what does that say about them, right? What does that say about their world, their choices? Like, and maybe they wish they could get out of it, or for whatever reason they decide to kind of like, oh, I have to go along with this. I have to go to normal school and have a normal education and have a normal job, and they rationalize that for themselves, where they feel okay about it. But then we represent something that is sort of like, remind them. It's like a reminder that there is this alternative way of being, and it's like you become this divergent, this dangerous element to their worldview, right? I mean, did you want to talk about that a little bit?
The denial is a safety mechanism. If people start realizing that they are that their worldview is wrong, then that threatens all the effort that they have put in for like 40 years in building themselves.
Right.
So
did I waste 40 years of my life, pursuing this, right?
They try to therefore cancel your actions to justify theirs, to keep their worldview intact, to keep their sense of identity intact. Fair, which is fair, because you have a right to feel good about your own life. But what that does is it puts them in a cocoon with people who are just the same as themselves. One of the biggest things I think was threatening to my extended family was, if he does this, what if my kids do the same? And he will become that one poster child to look at.
Right.
And the funny bit that happens is, because everybody first expects things to go wrong. And so they tell you that, hey, things will go wrong. And then you get married.
Things also go wrong when you marry somebody in your own
Precisely.
culture, right? I mean, it's like,
That's exactly what we said.
right?
So much has already gone wrong in our family. When you matched horoscopes, everything. And
did you guys do horoscope? Did you do astrology?
So there's no guarantees anyway. At least let it be my own mistake.
Right.
And then when it did not go wrong, like now it's 5 years, we've been happy. Now if you ask anybody in my extended family that, were you against it? They will say, against? No, we were always for it. Why? Because again, to keep their sense of identity intact, you can't be on the wrong side of the game. Because if you were against it, then you were proven wrong. So you definitely were for it. So it's like this, there's a scientific, it's like the glitch, right? Where suddenly everybody forgets collectively one common part of history and alters. When I grew up, when we were talking about the marriage and everything, I thought that actually the others are progressive, they're educated, they will not say weird things. And maybe my grandmother is the one who I have to explain and say that, it's okay and all of that. Quite the reverse. My grandmother said, yeah, so what if she's different religion, different color? Who cares about these things? And she was the only one, even though the rest of the family is pushing her to say, don't support it. But she's like, no, I know answer, I know, there is no reason. And she was, so the moment she said categorically that, now nobody had any escape. Like, I have to, because she has said it. Like, once she has said it, even my grandfather cannot like come in the way. It's done, And of course, like, answer is diabetic, and there's all of these things, and everybody had like, just too many fears. And so, understandable. Okay, I mean, you care about your children, you have these fears, and Indian society is the way it is. So, one thing was that we never felt angry at them. We were patient, we explained things, but we also never took permission. Like, every question will be answered, and I will never raise my voice. I will stay calm, answer your, whatever you need to know. At the same time, very firm that this is happening, that it is not at any moment going to feel like it's a choice. And grandma, once she gave her vote of support, that was shocking, because that woman, not educated, and I still take her example all the time, right? I meet people and they say, who inspires you, and or they tell me that I do inspiring work. I'm like, what inspiring work? Like, okay, fine, I run an organization, I do some good things, uh, but look at my grandmother. She never really educated beyond, I think, fourth or fifth grade. Um, she raised a family of four kids through difficult times, handled a husband that was not easy to handle. Really made things work, and her carbon footprint is probably a fraction of a thousandth of mine. So, I mean, I have done way more environmental damage than she ever will. Like, I mean, in her 76 years of life, she hasn't done which I've done in my first 15 years, probably. So, she is who's the ideal. Um, my, I am more okay. Firstly, trying to recover from my uh, trying to unlearn, trying to recover from who I had become, and then trying to find fixes to situations. But if everybody was like my grandmother, nothing would be there to fix. I would not have to run Defy. None of this would be needed. No, none of that would be required. Because my grandmother was the ideal person. I feel smart, very intelligent, never felt smaller than anyone. Never showed herself. Never said. I never heard from her mouth, "Oh, I'm fifth fail," which is something you hear all the time in India. I mean, this fail, that pass. Yeah, I don't care. No, strong, very, and it is to this day really a force. And she has her beliefs. That's fine. But at the same time, very willing to listen, and has lifelong friendships and things that people can only aspire for in today's. She has managed that. So I feel that she was and continues to be a really, really strong role model, which I hope one day I can become like.
Amazing.